Why is light so important for Jews and candles? Parashat starts with Ba'alotra et hanerot, when you will kindle the lamps. But really the verb doesn't mean to kindle. To kindle we have this word le'adlik ner shel Shabbat, to kindle the lamps of Shabbat, the lights of Shabbat. Well, the word we use here is Ba'alotra. La'alot is to rise, to elevate. And it's not a coincidence. There are no coincidences in the biblical narrative. Everything is meaningful. Everything, every embodied gesture points to a symbol that is beyond itself. So what does it point to? To say we want to elevate light. In the Kabbalistic tradition, there's this concept of nitzotzot, of sparks. This idea that there was this divine infinite light, Or and Sof, that wanted to be conveyed into the world, but that it was so powerful that it broke the vessels that were carrying it. And as a result, these nitzotzot of light, these sparks of light, are dispersed and scattered into the world. Now you could see it as a tragedy, or you could see it as an opportunity. Because if the world is not filled with infinite light, yes, sometimes it's really challenging to feel that we live in a world on some form of darkness, right? You can see obscurantism in mindsets and doubt and human violence and so on and so forth. And at the same time, it means that in this world we have agency. We can choose between good and bad. We can choose to do good. And from a Jewish perspective, we do have a task. And our role is to elevate the sparks. It's to elevate the world. It's to bring a little more light in obscurity. And on a very concrete level, if I'm translating it now in the language of ordinary life, first of all, there is a language of energy. You know, when I feel down, when I break down, you see these metaphors of down. But when I feel uplifted, right? And so when a song rises in me, when a dance rises in me, when a smile, when a laughter rises in me, I elevate myself and I elevate others. And this has always been a priority for Jews, and the task of Jews in the world and the task of humans in general, that maybe we're here to remind each other of that we are here to elevate each other. And right now it feels maybe more urgent than ever, right? In front of so much pessimism and violence and antagonism and injustice, you know, the Lubavitcher Rebbe was saying, you know, when it's dark in a room, you don't chase darkness with a broom, you kindle a lamp. So maybe this lamp can be you today. So that's my question for you. What is the way you're going to elevate yourself and others today? What is the way you're going to be the lamp that elevates the light in the world? Shabbat Shalom.